Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. We are back live. You know, I've been invited by David Icke repeatedly to his events, and I've always said no because I'm too busy. But tentatively, I'm going to be at the Phoenix event because Mancow's invited me, David's invited me, and he says this may be one of the last times in years he's in the U.S., and so I'm going to tentatively, I'm going to Phoenix, not this weekend, next weekend. But that doesn't mean I'm going to be speaking or involved. I don't want to be. I'm going to be hiding. I just want to meet David in person. I've interviewed him so many times and been on other shows with him so many times. So I'm probably going to that event. So that is, but I'm not sure. But just side issue, exciting. Just talked to David Icke. Alan Watts coming up in 30 minutes. We are joined here in just a second by Max Keiser, who, of course, is the host of the BBC Oracle, host of Al Jazeera shows, host of Press TV, host of Russia Today, the inventor of the Hollywood Stock Exchange, produced TV shows with Alec Baldwin, really knows his stuff, not from the left-right paradigm, but exposing corporate communism, as he calls it. So he really gave a devastating interview to Russia Today that I really think in 5 minutes boiled it all down. We're going to be talking to Max and picking his brain a little bit more about what's really happening with this dollar. Is this the final plunge, or is this just the beginning of the dead cat bounce downwards? And what will a dollar collapse, either gradual or more quickly collapsing, fast as in a year? We've already seen quite a collapse the last few years. 4 or 5 years is gradual. We'll talk to Max Keiser in a moment. I wanted to bring Ted Anderson, owner of the Genesis Network and also owner of Midas Resources. You know, when I buy gold, I buy it from Ted because the deals he offers you, the deals we pitch on this show, I only want the best deals for my audience. I tell Ted that. These Alex Jones specials are the specials I'm getting. Ted buys gold at $910 an ounce. He sells it when it's $1,040. He bought into the market at that time at a, 910, 911, 912 layer, 990. Then last week, he keeps selling it at that price till he sells out. That's how he's become one of the fastest growing and large gold silver brokers out there. Now he sold out of that stuff at the 990, 995 level, but he's got it at another level way below 1,047. And the futures are even higher than that right now. We'll talk to Max Keiser, an expert on this in a moment. But I wanted to briefly bring Ted up to tell you the coins he's got, how long the offer lasts. Ted Anderson.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go till midnight tonight for sure. We're selling the franc currently right now at $236 a piece, and the British sovereign at $291. We also have the Walking Liberty halves still at that $869. Lakota's at $22.30. And, really it's a great buy across the board. Alex, what's going on right now in the market, though, is that, our business volume has at least hiked by 10 times of where it was just a month ago. And every single dealer across the United States is experiencing the very same thing. And we're all fighting over the same items out there in the marketplace. So
your 36 brokers, as you told me last night, are up there till midnight, one every night. They're exhausted, and you're running out of gold and silver supplies at any price. So people will find out. If they don't buy now, they're really going to regret it later. That's what all the trends and evidence shows.
Well, they sure will. Obviously, they're going to pay more if they wait at this particular time. But, all I can say, Alex, is that the demand is there. We're going to end up with short supply, just like we did a year ago. The market is much bigger than it was a year ago, and the mints are trying to mint more, but you know what? There's just not enough. When you watch the dollar do what it's doing right now and the foreign markets doing what they're doing, people are just concerned about their money that they put away for retirement and their savings accounts, the money that they have in the stock market, et cetera, and they're turning it over to gold and silver, and the demand is bigger than the supply. That's just the way it is.
Absolutely. Now tell people briefly, because we're going to Max Keiser, the coins you have at the lower price and what you bought these coins at in the market versus what it is now, the type of savings.
I'm edging up to the supply that I picked up at that 994 level. Now, we were looking at the 988 stuff yesterday. The franc's currently at 236, will be adjusted higher as soon as this stuff goes. British sovereigns will go higher as well.
So you're still getting something at below the 1,000 level when it's cresting at 1,050. That is a crazy Eddie level good deal. That is a fantastic deal.
The answer to it is if I reprice things in today's market, it's a lot higher, not just a little bit, but a lot higher. And it isn't going to be too long before, I'm not a eccentric billionaire. I have so much money that I can buy supply with, and that's it. My resources are limited. So yeah, if you're interested,
but you're very competitive. and you like blasting the competition, and if you buy gold lower and silver lower, why not sell it at the lower price instead of doing what most people do, jacking it up? That's why you're growing so fast, Ted. That's why we hear your ads on national radio and TV. That's why Midas Resources is so respected. Here's the number briefly. 800-686-2237. 800-686-2237. Gold at that $994 level. Silver at the even lower level in the market, even though it's way up. 800-686-2237. And you can only hold that until, when?
I mean, I'm going to hold it until tonight. I mean, just because of the fact that even if I have to lose on the deal, I will. I just appreciate the customers and the business. And I just think it's the right thing to do. People need to get gold and silver now.
800-686-2237. Thank you, Ted.
Thanks, Alex.
Take advantage of it or you're insane. Let's go to Max Keiser. He's not affiliated with me or Ted. Does that sound like a good deal to you, Max Keiser?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, they didn't have your mic up. Say it again.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Now, you've been a gold bug for a long time, and you've been very successful with that. Let's talk about dollar tumbles on report of its demise. You're in Paris. You've got some inside info. Max Keiser of MaxKeiser.com. You've got the floor. Tell us what's happening right now.
Well, Alex, Robert Fisk had a great story in The Independent in the UK this week, and he was talking about the oil-producing nations in the world. They want to get out of pricing oil in dollars. They want to start pricing oil in a new currency, a basket of currencies, anything but the dollar, because the dollar gives the U.S. really an unfair advantage in the world markets, because any country that wants to buy oil, they first have to buy dollars, because oil only trades in dollars. And this is a very unfair advantage that the U.S. has. And what these countries are noticing, countries like China, Russia, Iran, is that the U.S. is using the profits that they're making from this monopoly pricing power of the dollar and the price of oil, and what's called seigniorage, which is they basically get a commission on all the dollars that they're producing. They're using the profits to, fund their wars, to fund the Pentagon, to fund the invasion of Iraq or the invasion of Afghanistan, or now, looks like the invasion of Iran. And the thing about Iran is that Iran and China signed $8 billion deal for oil with Iran. So China is thinking, even though they are heavily connected to the dollar and their economy has grown as a result of tying their currency to the dollar, they're thinking that now it's time to divorce themselves from the dollar. It's time to kick America to the curb, and it's time for these other countries to stretch their wings and take over in terms of the new superpowers. And and Robert Fisk basically makes that point in his Independent article, and I can confirm pretty much what he's been saying, because it's the same thing I'm hearing here in Paris and my contacts in the Mideast, that in fact a new currency is being formulated, a new currency that'll be represented by a basket of currencies. The only a couple of things that Robert Fisk mentioned that I would add is that he mentioned that gold would be one of the components of the new currency. But what I'm hearing is that gold could represent as much as 50% of the basket in the new currency. And this is what's driving gold higher now, because banks and central banks have stopped selling their gold, and the investment banks in Wall Street and other places are starting to accumulate gold. And I think gold could be, it could go into a bubble phase. It could be like a dot-com bubble or a real estate bubble. They need a bubble in America to keep things rolling on Wall Street, to keep the bonuses flowing. And people have been questioning, what is going to be the next bubble? Is it going to be carbon credits? Is it going to be green investments? Is it going to be commodity investments? Is it going to be gold? And gold could be a huge bubble. And you could see the price spike. You could see the price go to $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 an ounce. If that's what Goldman Sachs and these guys decide is going to be the next gravy train for their big bonuses. And I'm hearing some other things in Europe, some really interesting things, which I've been, but anyway, That's my comment
hold on
so
a minute.
far.
Hold on, Max.